So this is the annual CCP information meeting. Even if you have a new student coming into CCP who's never done it before, or if you have students who have, and they're returning CCP students, this is for both of you guys because it gives updated information for next school year, and it also, as I'll talk, coming to this meeting is one of the requirements for CCP to take classes. So by attending this meeting, you're already like check the box, done one of the requirements. I believe everybody should know me, but my name is Kara Stevens, and I am the school counselor here at FCA. I'm also the director of admissions. We wear a lot of different hats here. But tonight, I've got my school counselor hat on, and so I'm gonna talk about CCP. I'm gonna talk about the pros, the cons, you know, all the good, the bad, the ugly of everything that kind of goes along with CCP. So we'll get started. And I'm sorry, that projector didn't work, so I'm down to one projector here. So, but I will have all of this information up on our website along with the video of this meeting, but then also the PowerPoint as well. So the first question, what is College Credit Plus? College Credit Plus is Ohio's what's called dual credit program. Students can earn high school and college credit at the same time. It is open for students in grades 7 through 12, so this year's current 6th through 11th grade, and anyone who is enrolled in a public or private high school. And there's a variety of courses that can be taken at a public college or university, but also any private participating. Like tonight, we have Ohio Christian University here with us because we have a partnership with them. And so they'll get a chance to talk a little bit about their program and what they have here. The courses that students can take, those can be held at the high school, which is what we have, on a college campus or online. The next question is, how can students participate? The first step is eligibility. So a student is eligible for CCP if they meet any of the following of these criteria. So that is, they have what's called a remediation-free score on one of the standardized tests. ACT, SAT, if a student's not old enough to take those yet, the AccuPlacer. Or they can have accumulated, unweighted high school GPA of at least a 3.0. That is typically what qualifies the majority of our students for CCP, is they at least have a 3.0 GPA. The other one is they have a cumulative unweighted high school GPA of at least a 2.75 and received at least an A or B in relative high school courses. Again, that one doesn't really go along with a lot of our students who take CCP. It's usually that 3.0. Step 2 is the student has to be accepted to the college. The college will have its own requirements, and they have to apply at the institution and be accepted at the institution that they want to take college classes through. OCU, like tonight, they will talk about what their admission requirements are. The college applications, and I'll go through kind of a little bit of those, but one of the documents that are in there is the permission slip for mature content and a questionnaire about emotional maturity. I will get into that because those are huge components to taking CCP classes. Ultimately, last point, colleges have the final decision on student admission. One of the biggest questions about CCP is who pays for it. The state of Ohio does give funding to private school students, and you do have to apply for that. So each year, even if you're a returning CCP student or a new, you have to reapply for funding. Again, there's a lot of information that I'm gonna go over tonight, but I do step by step once you decide if your student is ready to do CCP. And so I'll send out each of these steps via email on how to do each of these. So don't feel too overwhelmed with all of this information. What happens is you go onto the Ohio Department of Education's website, you create what's called an Ohio ID, and then you apply for funding. You ask for so many credit hours from the state for them to pay for these CCP classes. Let me see. The state funds are awarded approximately 5 weeks after the deadline. Funds are limited, so students don't get like a full course load every year. It's distributed by grade level. So they start out giving seniors the amount of credits that pretty much that they ask for. Then they go down to juniors, sophomores, and so on. So this year I can say that like our 10th graders probably got 1 class paid for by the state. Our 11th graders probably got 2, maybe 3, but then our seniors got at least 4. So as you can see, it just continues to increase as they get older. Another key point, funds cannot be split. So the state awards them, so most college classes are 3 credit hours. The state awards by class, which sometimes the maximum credit hour a class could be is 4. So they award by 4 credits. So some of our sophomores, they got 4 credit hours paid for by the state. Obviously they only took a 3 credit hour class, so that still leaves 1 credit. It can't be split and put into another class. So it's kind of like an all or nothing. So that's just that point on that they can't be split. Okay, if the awarded funds do not cover the total cost of a course, families can choose to pay for the entire course. This is considered option A, which is a self-pay option, which we will talk about later. The deadline, and this is a very important date, so if you take notes, I would write it down. April 1st at 5 p.m. is the deadline to apply for funding. If you do not apply for funding by that deadline, then if your student still wanted to take CCP, they would just have to pay for it out of pocket. You'll probably hear me say that deadline a lot because I never want our kids to miss out on that. So April 1st, 5 p.m., I would not wait until the last week of March. We have had in the past where the online system got bogged down and shut down right before the deadline. So just make sure you're being proactive in that. Let's see, course registration. So after the whole process and it's time to register for classes, the college discusses course options with them, but a lot of the time I will meet with the students and try and talk about what their goals are, what they're trying to do with their classes. For older students, kind of what they may want to go into in college. So what courses can we have you take now instead of in college? So we'll meet and do a registration session as well with our students. It is based on like assessment scores and any prerequisites. As it says, school counselors can help students understand graduation requirements and how that goes along with it as well. And then I'll talk a little bit about the 15 and 30 credit hour pathways. What that is that students must complete their first 15 credits that they take in what's called level 1 courses. All of the courses that we offer here through OCU are level 1 courses. So a lot of our students, if they want to take higher level courses, like they call them level 2, you have to do at least 15 credit hours in the level 1 courses, which all of the colleges have to have those posted on their website. So you'll be able to look and see which ones those are. There are some courses that are not allowed to be paid for through the state funding. That is any like private applied courses, like with one-on-one instruction, anything with high fees, study abroad courses, PE courses. I will say that was a scandal one year that people were taking yoga at OUL to suffice for their PE credit here at, at a high school. Not here, but OUL had talked about it. So that then changed the next year. Any pass-fail courses and any remedial or religious courses. The question comes up, how many classes can a student take? So the state has a formula. I'm actually the one who does this calculation or this formula for your student. But ultimately, it's based on 30 credits a year. So what you do is it's 30 credits, you subtract all of their high school units. So say they're in Bible, math, science, and history, that's 4. So you do 4 times 3, you subtract that from 30, and that gives you the maximum number of CCP credits that they can take using state funding. So if any, we have had students who have been over the 30. They pack their schedule full of CCP and high school courses. And they can do that, but they have to self-pay for any of the courses that are over those 30 hours. let's see. Okay, so additional considerations, grades, and this is one of the things to always consider, things to weigh. The final grades earned in the college course will be the same grade that is put on the high school transcript. So with these classes, whatever grade you get in the CCP course, it starts your college transcript, but it's also put on your high school transcript as well and affects your high school GPA. I will say, the grade weighting. We do have, all of our CCP classes are on a weighted grading scale. So in a regular high school level course, an A- is a 3.67 GPA. If you get an A- in a CCP class, it's still a 4.0 GPA. So that's where I'm saying CCP classes, and then we have some AP classes and honors classes as well. All of those are on a weighted grading scale. And so an A- still gets you a 4.0 because they're more rigorous classes. The next thing is, what does it mean to be college ready? This is always the little section that I hit the most, just because I want to make sure our students are ready for college classes. So I typically say, if you feel like your student has mastered high school level courses and they need a challenge, the next step is these college courses. And college ready doesn't necessarily mean academically ready. It also is an emotional and a maturity thing as well. A social transition. They might be taking classes, if they're a younger student, they may be taking classes with seniors. And then also just understanding college expectations. Consider time management and organizational skills. I love this quote and I share it every year. So those of you who have already been here like last year or years before, you know what it is, but it says, it's critical that participants are college ready. As the few times there has been a problem thus far, it has not been because students were not academically ready, but because they were not mature enough to handle it. Classes like psychology, classes like sociology, they're gonna have some mature content. And so you just need to make sure that your student is not just academically ready, but socially mature as well to be able to handle that. I do a little bit of statistics on the number of our students who take CCP here. So as you can see, we have this year 53 out of 211 students in grades 7 through 12 who took CCP this year. So that's only about 25% of our students who would be eligible to take CCP. I break it down into grades. 12th grade, there's 31% who've taken CCP this year. 11th grade is 50%. 10th grade was 41%. And then 8th and 9th grade, we had 4 students, so about 6%, and then we didn't have any 7th graders this year who took CCP. So when you hear, oh, everybody's doing it, no, not really. A lot of it's just 10th through 11th and 12th graders who are doing it, so. Okay. Some of the differences between high school and college. This kind of just gives an overview, like one of the areas is study time. So for high school, it's about 1 to 3 hours a day for homework. For college, it's about 2 to 3 hours of studying for each hour of class. The classes are 3 credit hours long. So you would times that amount by 3. And that's about the amount of homework that you'll be doing for CCP classes. Knowledge acquisition. High school information is provided mostly in class, assignments, follow what was covered. College, there can be out-of-class work done in advance or in-class discussion. Tests, those can be given weekly or at the end of each unit in high school. For college, they're less frequent and they cover more material. I vividly remember a class in college where my entire grade was 3 tests. And so that is very overwhelming when it comes to trying to study for those tests. There we go. Grades, high school, there's quizzes, there's tests. This kind of goes along with my story about my college class. In high school, there's quizzes, tests, homework, all of those different things play into your grade. In college, there's fewer tests, fewer homework assignments, and so not a whole lot of lessons and all of that go into making up your grade. The role of the parents or the guardians at high school. You guys are their advocate, you're involved, you work with us. In the college level, the student has more responsibility. I will talk about during registration, there is a form called the FERPA form that your student fills out. that allows us, if they fill it out, that allows the college to be able to talk to you about their student records. If they don't, so being the school that we are, and we partner with you all, we really kind of require the students to do it unless you guys feel differently. But if they do not fill that out, then the college can't talk. If you call in to try and ask a question about maybe their bill or their grades, they can't talk to you. The professor can't talk to the parent if that form isn't filled out. I can't talk to you guys about something if the college, kind of includes me in on something. So that FERPA form is really important, we believe, and something that definitely needs to be filled out each year. And then any accommodations. So obviously, like, parents and students work with high school staff if there's any assistance that needs to be made for like IEPs or 504 plans. The college, they work directly with the college, the student works directly with the college staff to do that. So I feel like I go over a lot of the negatives, I feel like sometimes, but there is positives to CCP. They can earn high school and college credit at the same time. I mean, this is a huge thing for students to be able to be challenged academically, but also to start, college is expensive, it's hard to pay for that. And so this is getting them a head start, and we have some students going into freshman year either with their first semester done and potentially their second semester, and they're going in as sophomores. We have a senior this year who she's going to have close to 30 to 35 CCP credits, and that is definitely going in as at least a sophomore. And so that's huge because she wants to be a doctor. So that's going to save her a lot of money in the long run. Again, it says get a head start, earn degrees. I think I've kind of hit all of that. Experience college early and understand those expectations. And definitely the big ones, save on tuition and textbook costs. There we go. Consequences of underperforming. Families may be asked to reimburse the course if the student does not earn a passing grade in their course or they withdraw after the no-fault deadline. There is what's called CCP probation. This is when a student, they're placed on probation if they earn less than a cumulative 2.0 GPA in their CCP courses, which a 2.0 is a D into the class. So like an A is a 4.0, B is a 3, C is a 2. Oh, so I'm sorry, so a 2. C is a 2. So they have to get a C or better in the CCP class in order to not be put on academic probation. There we go. So while they're on probation, the student may only enroll in one CCP course for that next term. They may not enroll in a course in the same subject which they may have gotten that low score or their low grade in. And if a student on CCP probation does not increase their CCP GPA to a 2.0 or above during that probation time, they're placed on what is called CCP dismissal. If a student does not raise their GPA during that probationary term, they are dismissed from CCP. They may not enroll in any college courses during that time, but they can request to appeal and then be reinstated into the program. And this kind of gives just really super more detail. I'm required by the state to give you all of this information so that you know. Again, as I said, the student may appeal to take a course in the same subject which they had previously earned a non-passing grade. For the dismissal, within 5 days of being dismissed, the student may submit an appeal to that university, the secondary school, and to appeal the CCP dismissal at the end of the semester. After high school graduation, so grades earned in CCP will remain on the student's college transcript permanently. So that is one thing that if you don't perform well in the CCP classes, you're starting your college transcript. Okay, that could be sophomore year and you decide, okay, I'm not taking any more CCP classes. But then you go to college and you're like, wait, I took a couple of these classes. That you do have the choice to transfer your transcript to that college. But if you don't, then you kind of lost out on those credits that you could have received. So just always knowing that this is starting a college transcript. So that's a big thing. And it's a big thing because it's affecting your high school GPA as well. The expenses for CCP. We talked about this a little bit already. As I said, option A is where a family can choose to self-pay for the college course. They arrange a payment plan with either the university or with the school, like with FCA. And under this option, students can choose to earn college credit and high school credit, or they can choose college credit only. So that would mean that we wouldn't put it on their high school transcript. But if that's something that someone wants to do, we have to be informed of that before the student registers for the class so that we know for sure. Option B, which is what the majority of our students take advantage of, is the default or the standard option for CCP. All the college course tuition, fees, textbooks is paid for by the state of Ohio. It is supported by the school's foundation funds and the college funds. And in that, the student does earn both college and high school credit. Support and services that are available to students. So students receive both support from both the high school and the colleges. Obviously, school counselors are here to provide assistance. I am very involved with the students with their CCP classes and helping them get logged in and textbooks and all of that great stuff. College advisors provide course selection assistance. And the colleges provide the same academic supports to CCP students that they do their regular college students. So access to like the library catalog, stuff like that. And make sure that if you are an athlete, make sure you know the Ohio Athletic Association requirements. That is it being enrolled in and passing at least 5 credits in the preceding quarter of the season that they want to play. So for example, for anybody playing basketball right now, they had to, in quarter 2, be enrolled in and passing at least 5 credits. So that's the academic and the athletic eligibility. So always the question, will the courses transfer and the credits transfer? The goal of the courses that we offer is that we are offering courses that are general education courses that most colleges require most of their major programs to take. And so certain general education courses will transfer, especially from one college to another, or it says Ohio Public College to another Ohio Public College. There is a website that you can visit to check that transferability. We've not had any issues with our students' credits transferring from Ohio Christian University and OUL to whatever colleges they're going to. We have some students who are going to a college that maybe no FCA student has gone to before. And so they're kind of the trailblazer for any other FCA students to go to that college because they have to turn in their syllabus from the class and say, no, I think I should get credit for this. Can you look at this syllabus and can you compare it to your class and see if you can accept this class? And usually they look at it, they see it, and they accept it. So we've not had any of those issues. You know, we have had students come back and be like, hey, I need the syllabus from the class I took, 3 years ago. And we give that to them and they're good to go. Okay, so the deadlines. The funding application, again, the big one. There's 2 parts to that. You apply for funding, but there's also a thing in there called the intent to participate. If you have not created an Ohio ID before, so if you are going to be a new CCP student, March 15th is the recommended deadline to create the Ohio ID account. April 1st at 5 p.m. is the funding application deadline. There are required documents for that. So like in order to submit your funding application, you have to have the college acceptance form. So that's why I say there's steps and a process, and we will help through that to make sure you guys are meeting all of those requirements and those deadlines. Okay. Next steps. You want to decide where you want to take the CCP classes through. Currently, pretty much the majority of our students take classes through OCU. We probably have 2 students right now who are taking it through OUL, and that's because they are seniors and their afternoon schedules are wide open with study halls, and so they decided to go to OUL and take a couple classes, and that worked out for them. But the majority of our students take them through OCU because we have them here. But we've had students take them through Hocking, Columbus State, COTC, So any college that offers CCP, you can take CCP classes through. Let me see. Make sure you're applying for admissions by the deadlines, completing the funding application and intent to participate, and then of course making sure you meet with me to make sure everything is good as far as graduation requirements and stuff like that. If you have any additional questions in regards to this, there is the CCP website through the Higher Ed Ohio. Then, are there any questions in regards to just CCP in general before I move forward with like CCP at FCA and what that looks like? Awesome. Okay. You should have gotten a packet when you came in. And this will be your best friend through this process, that and my emails. The many, many emails. First page, it just gives, or these first 2 pages are just a lot of information about CCP. You're welcome to look through that. The next one here is the CCP checklist. This is the one to keep on hand because it kind of gives you what you need to do and when you need to do it. So the first thing is attend the information session. This is this. You guys have checkmarked that first one. Second is I highly, highly recommend we have the syllabi on our website of some of the classes that we offer here. Take a look at those. Check out the demand of the classes and when things are due. See if that's something that it also gives a description of the course. So check those out and see what that looks like. The third point there, and it's included in your packet, is the counseling session form. It's this one right here. This one's due to our office February 19th. This is just saying that you were here, you listened to everything, like all the guidance in regards to CCP, and that I talked to you about option A, option B, the pros and cons, all of that great stuff. So that is due to the office on February 19th, if you could. The next one is the permission to participate form. That one there, I would like that back by February 19th if I could as well. This just allows me to know that you intend to do CCP or you're interested in doing in CCP. Because currently I'm sending emails and reminders to students in 6th through 11th grade right now. Once I start getting these forms, I'm gonna narrow that down so that I'm not bombarding everybody with emails who aren't interested in CCP. So this helps me know, create a list on who I need to be emailing with all of the next steps. The next thing there is to be applying to the colleges. I have links on the website to applications to other colleges. For OCU, their application, if you're a new student, is online, and Kelsey will probably go over that as well. But theirs is online. If your student has already taken CCP classes through OCU, I do have a notification of continuance. It's kind of like a short form for all of those returning students, and I have copies up here if you want to get one at the end. That's their application. So you don't have to go through the entire application process again. OCU's deadline is March 15th. That gives them time to get you the acceptance letter before the April 1st deadline to apply for funding, because you need that letter to be able to apply for funding. So that gives them a little time to get that to you so you don't miss the April 1st deadline. The next page in there is the transcript request form. This allows me to send your transcript to OCU. That's part of the CCP process so that they can accept you. I would go ahead and try and have this sent to me by February 19th as well, so that I have it, and once I know that you've applied, I can send the transcript over to OCU. Next on the CCP checklist, sign up for the Ohio ID. If you're new, remember to make sure that it's done at least by March 15th. Make sure the Ohio ID to create the account has to be done in the parent's name. The actual application will be done in the student's name. The account has to be done in the parent's name. So just make sure you do that. And that deadline is April 1st at 5 p.m. So you guys will probably dream of me saying that tonight, April 1st at 5 p.m.
All right, so FCA being a partnership school, we obviously have classes here at the school, but we also have classes that are online that are 15 weeks and 8 weeks. The 15 weeks are the general classes, but if you've kind of already dipped your toes into the CCP world and you're doing well, and there's other specific courses that you're wanting to take, we do have some 8-week options as well. But then we also have the on-campus options also. So if you are getting closer to graduation and your schedule is going to be a little bit more open and you've got some travel flexibility, I think that's a really good opportunity to be able to go on campus and kind of experience that, what that life is like without just going head first and diving into it after high school. The level 1 courses, like was already mentioned, all of that is on our website. If you go to OCU, go to Trailblazer Academy, all of that is listed on there. The level 1 courses, a lot of those are going to be kind of those general education courses. And then you can also view all of the other courses that we've got as well. Some students that know that they're going to want to come to OCU will start diving into their specific degree path. So if they've already finished English, math, science, all of those things, sometimes they'll start diving into the psychology courses or the business courses, which is a really nice opportunity because sometimes students might start diving into that and they realize they don't like it at all. So they want to change it. And having a husband who changed his degree like 3 or 4 times, that's really nice to be able to do that for free and not to have to pay for that. So those degree pathways are listed online as well. Alrighty, so like I said, once you apply, our program coordinator is going to connect with you and she's going to tell you everything that you need to know to make sure that you are accepted to the program. But once you're actually accepted, this right here is where I'm going to step in. So we have an advising video we have students watch. We have a checklist that tells you everything that you need to do. There's a college environment agreement. This is just kind of you and your parent or guardian just stating, yes, I know this is a college world. I know there's going to be some things maybe I haven't talked about before. The FERPA, like was already mentioned, it's super important. If you don't sign that, if your parent or guardian's name is not on that, then we can't talk to you. And that's not going to be good if your student's having difficulties. And then the student questionnaire and then the mature permission slip. The permission slip's also super important. She's already talked about that. So I would be remiss if I kept discussing that. This is just a copy of our registration form, just kind of giving you an idea of what that's going to look like. One of the things that throws students off the most is this right here. You're going to want to make sure you talk to your school counselor about which number to put in there. It is not your social security number. So it's going to be the number that's actually written on your award letter that you get from the state. So I think that's probably the thing that trips students up the most.
Usually if it's the wrong one, I put the right one. So I look through and I white out and then I change it and then send it. So
yeah. We like that. Yeah, but then you can list where you want to take the course, which course you're taking and all of that. Your school counselor does have to sign this. It's required. She's going to do the math for you to make sure you're not taking too many classes and you're not overloading yourself. We are accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. I know in the state PowerPoint it talks about public universities or colleges. In the state of Ohio, the public universities and colleges have worked together to make sure that all of those general education courses are able to be transferred. We are a private university, but like she already said, most of the classes that we're going to have our students take are transferable. If you know that you're going to come to OCU or you're wanting to come to OCU after graduation, then that's great. We can work on getting things started with the registrar and doing degree audits and things like that. But if you or your student are thinking that they might want to go somewhere else, so OU, OSU, somewhere where maybe we don't have that degree program, we are happy to either use the TES or Transferology to check and make sure that the class is going to transfer. But if the course is not listed on there, there might be a course that your student's interested that's just not in either of those systems. we can always contact the registrar at the university that they're wanting to go to and check and see if that's going to transfer. But most of the time, it's not an issue. And then I guess I could add too, if it doesn't transfer, so let's say they take an English course is probably going to transfer as an English course. But there might be more specific like business courses and things that would transfer, but they might transfer into the electives category. So generally speaking, they're going to transfer in some sort of way. All right, fluent transition into college. It's really nice. College is a big world, especially if you're going to live on campus. It's just a lot to take in. And it's really nice to just kind of start dipping your toes into the programs that colleges use, the expectations, all of that. Understanding the college expectations, getting your general education courses done early so that you can save money and save a little bit of time. And that brings me to the last one. So OCU actually offers a scholarship for all of our CCP students. So if you or your student are going to be taking at least 2 classes with us, so it has to be 6 credit hours at least, they will be eligible for the early admit scholarship. It is a $2,000 a year scholarship. It is renewable and it is stackable. So if your student decides that they want to pursue a bachelor's degree, it would be stacking each year up to $8,000, and it could also stack with any other scholarships that they get as well. I don't know if any of you know or have heard about the Robinette family closer to the Circleville area. They recently had a house fire, and the dad was a pastor and a missionary. And 2 of the sons that were 10 and 17, I believe, all of them passed away in the fire. And Gideon was the 17-year-old, and he passed away in the fire, but he was a CCP student. And so I don't have all of the details yet, but we are starting a scholarship called the Gideon Robinette Memorial Scholarship Fund. And it's going to be $1,000 for the student, renewable each year. So I think that's going to be awarded to 2 students every year. But all of the details of that are kind of forthcoming. So I don't know if we're going to have that up and running yet for students that are coming in to take classes in the fall or not. But if you're a little bit younger, just keep your eyes out, because that's going to be 2 scholarship opportunities that you can have. And you've already heard all these dates. I don't need to say those. March 15th, April 1st, super important. I'll just let you look at those and take them as you will, but thank you for having us. We're so thankful for the partnership. It's a really cool opportunity to offer these classes in the school. So we're just thankful to work with you.
Totally didn't realize you were recording.
Yes.
It's like, where's this paper?
For all the ones who couldn't make it. All right, so I will just close us here real quick. If you have any questions, there they are, but obviously I can connect you as well. So just some final reminders, make sure to turn in the paperwork to the secondary office. Some of them are due back like February 19th. Deadline to apply to OCU, March 15th. Deadline to apply for CCP funding, April 1st at 5 p.m. Okay. As I said, students do take classes through OUL. Their deadline is May 1st to apply. Obviously, that needs to be sooner because you need to submit funding by April 1st at 5 p.m. So make sure you check your emails. I know OCU sends the acceptance letter via email to whatever email address is listed on the application. So just make sure that is our main form of communication. Follow the CCP checklist, and then of course you are always welcome to call or email me with any questions that you do have. Kelsey mentioned it a little bit. I am able to, I guess, trained to give the AccuPlacer here at FCA. So if there's any middle school students who are interested in CCP, they'll have to schedule a time to take the AccuPlacer with me to see if they qualify to take CCP classes. But then any students who has not taken the ACT or the SAT and they want to take CCP classes, will have, or want to take English or math classes, will have to take the AccuPlacer with me as well to qualify. So, any other questions before we close tonight? Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. I know there's going to be a lot of questions that will probably come later, so please feel free to reach out if you think of anything else. So, thank you for coming tonight, and I hope you have a good night.